If you fill your pool with well water, or you've ever noticed a bright green or rusty tinge in your water after shocking, well, it means that you're dealing with metals. I'm Matt from Swim University, and metals in your pool are extra frustrating because the one thing that makes them react the most is chlorine. So what do you do? Well, you've got two options for treating metals. One, stop them from reacting in the water, or two, get them out of your water altogether. So first, how do you know if you even have metals in your pool? Well, discolored water is often the first sign. If it's brown or tea-colored water, that typically means you have iron. Green or blue-green water means copper. Now the same goes for stains, but even if you're confident that you've got metals, you need to figure out where they're coming from. Now well water is the most common culprit. It usually has iron, manganese, and other minerals, but well water isn't the only issue. If your home has copper plumbing, copper can leach into the water between your indoor pipes and your outdoor faucet. Corrosion and rust can also cause problems. Metal fixtures near your pool, like fencing or ladders, can rust after a rainstorm and get into the water. Corroded pool equipment like heaters and heat exchangers can also add metals to your water too. But the sneakiest source of metals is pool chemicals. That's right. Some algicides and multi-purpose chlorine products contain copper. So if you see the word blue in a product name, that usually means copper is an ingredient. Just check the label. Mineral systems and ionizers add copper to your water as well. Now, before we get into treatment, there's one thing you need to know about chlorine and how it reacts to metals. Chlorine is a powerful oxidizer, and when it comes in contact with dissolved metals, it causes them to oxidize and fall out of solution. And that means that the metals that were harmlessly floating in your water suddenly become solid particles that stain your surfaces or turn your water a weird rust brown color or even a green color. So if you've got metals in your water, you need to address them before you shock your pool. And you'll want to wait a few days after treating metals before adding a round of shock. Okay. Here's how to get rid of metal in your pool water. Step one is to test your water and figure out which metals are causing the problem. You'll need to get metal-specific test strips or take a water sample to your local pool store. Now, if you have well water, you want to do this at the start of every single pool season, whenever you add a lot of fresh water to your pool or anytime you notice discoloration. Test the water at your specific spigot, the one that you use to fill your pool, not just an indoor tap. Step number two is to adjust your pH. Bring your pH down between 7.2 and 7.6 because lower pH helps keep metals dissolved and suspended in the water instead of falling out of solution and staining surfaces. It'll also help your metal sequestrant work better later. You just want to check the product directions because some need the pH on the lower end of that range. Step number three is to lower your chlorine. Bring your free chlorine level down to 1 part per million or below before you treat for metals. Remember, high chlorine can oxidize metals before you even get to treat them. Remove any floating chlorine dispensers from the pool. You want to turn off your saltwater generator if you have one and stop adding chlorine until the treatment is complete. Step number four, add a metal sequestrant. Now, a metal sequestrant, which is also called a chelating agent, binds to the metal ions in the water, keeping them in suspension. Because it envelopes the metal ions, it prevents them from oxidizing or falling out of solution and staining your surfaces. So a metal sequestrant isn't actually removing the metals, but it's preventing them from reacting. So you want to look for a metal sequestrant with a phosphonic acid or a phosphonic acid derivative as the active ingredient. These are going to be more effective and longer lasting. You want to add enough sequestrant based on your pool's volume, pouring it slowly around the deep end perimeter with the pump running. And don't underestimate the dose because it's a common reason why metal sequestrants don't work. Step number five, run the pump for 24 to 48 hours. So you want to run your pump for the next day or two after adding the sequestrant to let it circulate through the water. And if you have a recirculate setting on your filter's multiport valve, use this for the first 2 to 4 hours to help the metal sequestrant evenly disperse. Step number six is add the sequestrant regularly because sequestrants break down over time, so they require maintenance doses, usually every 1 to 2 weeks. It'll depend on how often you shock your water and your pool's metal count. So you don't want to shock 3 to 4 days after adding a metal sequestrant since that can undo all of that work. If the metals have already stained your pool surfaces, you'll need to do a separate stain treatment. Check out our pool staining video for a more complete walkthrough. But the first step to prevent more staining is to just use a metal sequestrant. Okay, so a metal sequestrant prevents metals from reacting, but can you remove the metals from your water altogether? Well, if you want to eliminate metals rather than just manage them, there are products that physically trap the metal ions and permanently remove them. These polymer-based products typically come as a small pouch that sits inside your skimmer or your pump basket. Water flows over the polymers inside, the metal ions bond to them, and they stay trapped until you discard the pouch, usually after 30 to 90 days. And they work best in tandem with a metal sequestrant. However, the results can vary and the process takes time, so plan on at least 30 days of consistent pump circulation. For moderate metal levels that respond well to sequestrant alone, well, you can just skip this. Finally, here's how to prevent metals from coming back. Number 1 is to use a hose filter when you're filling your pool. A pre-filter attached to your garden hose can help remove metals and minerals before they enter your pool. Number 2 is to keep your sequestrant topped up. Add a maintenance dose every 1 to 2 weeks throughout the season or according to the product's label. And don't wait until you see staining to start adding more. Number 3 is to keep your pH and calcium hardness balanced. High pH causes metals to fall out of solution and stain, and keep an eye on your calcium hardness as well. Very high calcium levels can complicate stain prevention. Number 4, avoid copper-based algicides. Now, if you want to use an algicide, I recommend choosing a copper-free polyquat algicide instead. Number 5 is to keep the chlorine lower. So high free chlorine can trigger metal oxidation, so try keeping it on the lower end of the range, around 1 to 2 parts per million. Number 6 is to test for metals at the start of every season, and this is going to be especially important if you have well water. Number 7, get your water delivered. I know not everyone can do this, and it's really expensive, but if you're filling more than 1/3 of your pool, and you can do it with treated reverse osmosis water, you're going to save yourself from dealing with a lot of these metal issues. And if you need more help with water chemistry beyond just metals, you can check out our Pool Care app. Just enter your water test results using the sliders or the keypad, and it'll give you the exact plan of which chemicals to add to your pool and when. There's a 7-day free trial over at swimu.com/app. That's it. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy swimming.